Stoicism and Modern Life, on greed, excess, and insatiability. Modern life constantly pushes people to want more. Another house, a newer car, new clothes, new electronics, new vacations. Human beings always want more, and most of the time they fail to see the value of what they already have. This desire is not only material greed, it is also about security, status, prestige, and the need to feel valuable in the eyes of others. The Stoics teach that belittling what we have and constantly chasing more is the true source of unhappiness. As Epictetus said, "It is not what you lack that makes you poor, but your failure to appreciate what you already have." This sentence reveals the deepest contradiction of the modern person. Every new opportunity that promises more can quietly threaten inner peace. If you do not value what you have, no external condition will ever satisfy you. This is visible not only in individual lives, but also in society. People fall into debt, surrender to endless consumption habits, and enter a cycle of exhaustion and dissatisfaction. The credit card cycle and modern debt are among the greatest traps that limit human freedom. Imagine a family living on minimum wage. The salary arrives, credit card interest is paid. Before the end of the month, the card limit is exhausted again. Then they wait for the next salary. In this cycle, real savings become almost impossible. Income is spent paying debt. Spiritually, people feel tired, helpless, and constantly under pressure. The Stoic perspective is different. They do not become slaves to external conditions. Control lies in their own choices. They want to take ownership of their lives, not only financially, but mentally. They plan wisely. They spend wisely. They do not choose modern slavery. They do not buy a phone that costs 4 times their salary. They do not spend all their savings on a car just for appearance. There are people who buy luxury cars but cannot afford fuel. There are people who are hungry yet obsessed with looking proud. The mindset of if they have it, I must have it too, leads inevitably into debt. The fear of what will people say disconnects a person from their true self. No one becomes bad overnight. No one becomes good overnight. You are shaped by small interactions, by small choices presented to you every day. Living according to others is a prison that lasts a lifetime. And if you are not aware of it, the situation is tragic. The Stoic becomes aware, recognizes the situation, refuses to drown, begins to swim. Everything is the product of emotion. Add reason, and you become stoic. Surrender to impulse, and you become captive. But poverty is not only material. Emotional poverty leaves deeper wounds than financial lack. Silent, helpless parents. Children growing up in constant stress and exhaustion. An inner emptiness, a sense of worthlessness. These too are forms of poverty. Stoicism teaches us to recognize spiritual hunger and restore emotional balance. When inner balance is established, a person gains resilience against the storms of the external world. They create peace within themselves and around them. Another paradox of modern life is overconsumption. A handful of food is enough to satisfy the stomach. Yet we eat 3 full plates. Then we undergo surgery to reduce what we consumed excessively. This is not only physiological, it is a metaphor for modern life. We fill our lives with unnecessary excess. It creates weight, it creates chaos, it leads to mental and emotional exhaustion. The Stoics find true satisfaction and contentment in valuing what they already possess. Letting go of excess is more meaningful than constantly chasing what is missing. True peace comes from awareness and gratitude. Greed and insatiability are not limited to money. They appear in the mind and in emotions as well. People constantly compare their lives to others. They surrender to artificial standards created by social media. Their house is not enough. Their car is not enough. Their clothes are not enough. Their success is not enough. This creates spiritual fatigue and endless dissatisfaction. Stoicism teaches liberation from comparison. It advises us to adopt our own values and standards. Happiness is not hidden in the approval of others. It is hidden within your own inner village. In conclusion, modern life provokes people to chase more. More houses, more cars, more possessions, more prestige, more consumption. But the Stoic perspective reminds us of something simple. Happiness is not in external conditions. It is in not belittling what you already have. It is in refusing to become a slave to circumstances. It is in being content with less, to recognize what you possess, to value it, to free yourself from unnecessary excess. This is the key to true peace and inner freedom. Stoicism teaches us not only how to live with less, but how to preserve mental and spiritual balance in a world that constantly demands more. And when you truly begin to recognize what you possess, something shifts inside you. You stop running, you stop chasing shadows, you stop measuring your worth against the noise of the world. You begin to understand that peace was never missing. It was buried under comparison, under fear, under endless desire. To value what you have is not weakness, it is strength. It is clarity, it is discipline. Because in a world that constantly whispers, "You are not enough," choosing contentment is an act of rebellion. To free yourself from unnecessary excess is not about rejecting comfort. It is about rejecting slavery. Slavery to opinion, slavery to status, slavery to the endless hunger for validation. True freedom begins the moment you no longer need to prove your worth through possessions. The Stoic does not withdraw from life. The Stoic steps into life with awareness, with control, with inner sovereignty. They understand that wealth is not measured by what fills your house, but by what steadies your mind. They understand that power is not control over others, but control over the self. And when storms come, financial storms, emotional storms, social storms, the Stoic does not collapse because their foundation is internal. They have trained their mind to distinguish between what they control and what they do not. They have trained their heart to remain steady in gain and steady in loss. In a world addicted to more, the Stoic chooses enough. In a world addicted to noise, the Stoic chooses silence. In a world addicted to approval, the Stoic chooses self-respect. This is not passivity, this is mastery. Mastery over impulse, mastery over fear, mastery over desire. And that mastery creates a life that is lighter, clearer, stronger. So, when the world demands more from you, more money, more status, more performance, more comparison, pause. Breathe. Remember what you already have. Remember who you already are, because peace is not found in accumulation. It is found in alignment, alignment between your values and your actions, alignment between your mind and your choices. Stoicism does not promise luxury, it promises stability. It does not promise applause, it promises integrity. And in the end, integrity outlives applause. When you learn to live with less, you discover that you actually need less. When you need less, you fear less. When you fear less, you live more. This is the quiet power of Stoicism. Not loud, not flashy, not dramatic, but unshakable. And in a world that constantly demands more, that unshakable mind is the greatest wealth of all.